about who were some of the first residents that were here?
Um, Mostly the Acadians who were exiled. You know, after Vermilionville was settled, they needed a larger church, so St. John's became the parish church for the Acadians. So mostly they're our first residents here.
Now you have there's Confederate generals in here, Confederate soldiers. You pretty much represent all the wars too, don't you?
Absolutely. General Gardner's right here, General Mouton, tons of Civil War soldiers, yeah, Confederate soldiers.
Alexander Mouton was the governor of Louisiana. Is
Correct.
that the same General Mouton?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Also Ambassador Caffrey.
Yep.
In fact, he's
buried
over there
right there.
somewhere. I
Yep.
missed his. I'm going to go get it in a little bit.
Yep.
Is it safe to say that in a community you can find history in a museum, you can see the stories, but if you really want to see the names of the people who built a community, a cemetery is a place you can do so.
Absolutely. You know, this is history. Not only the history of the people, but generations and the lineages of the people buried here. You know, this is their roots, their foundation, or the people buried in these tombs, and that's why we take such great care of them, because this is the living history of who we are as people, Acadians, you know.
Do you think people who live here in Acadiana would walk through and see some of these names, go, wait, that's a street?
Exactly. Like the first big white tomb right here is Kali Saloon, you know, and then Judge Saloon, his son, is by General Mouton. So yeah, the founder of Lafayette is right here, Jean Mouton. So I mean, this is Lafayette history.
I also noticed Ove Como. That would
Yeah,
be Como High
exactly.
School.
Como High School. Yeah, and Verrots are right here. Eras Landry. Everybody's here.
Well, let me ask you, since you okay, so we at KTC take a lot of slack when we say Vero School Road or Verrot School
Right,
Road.
right.
Do you know the official pronunciation?
I don't. I say Ver. Yeah, sometimes it's Vero, sometimes it's Verrot.
I'm the type of guy that says Vero School Road if I'm saying all three.
Right,
But
right,
if it's a place that's out on Verrot,
Right, exactly, exactly.
something like that.
Depends on the context. Yeah.
Tell me about some of the architecture that you have. I mean, you know, cemeteries around the world, around the country, they don't look like they do in South Louisiana.
Exactly. You know, a lot of this is our French heritage. Um, some of the old tombs that you would see almost look like a house because we as Catholics believe that the bodies will resurrect again. So, in a sense of the word, when we die, we're only resting. That's why in the funeral liturgy we say, eternal rest grant unto them, O Lord. That they're just sleeping for a while, and then whenever the resurrection happens, we will all rise again. So they would make it in the form of a house, like they're just sleeping, you know.
Is it also the reason why you're facing east?
Yes, because that's where Jesus will come back.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I tell you what, now, would somebody do you find if you've met people that have come to the cemetery, tourists or whatever, are they coming for reflection? Are they just looking at the history? Do they just come to enjoy some quiet time?
You know, a lot of them are amazed at the structures because, as you mentioned before, up north, everyone's buried in the ground with just a headstone. Here we have architecture, you know, different, like this is called a barrel tomb, this is a granite tomb, then you have the family mausoleums, and then each are unique in their own way that they're designed, you know, to reflect the life of the person who's buried there, you know. And that's a beautiful testament to their lives, and it's forever etched in stone, you know. So
For you, you spend a lot of time out. How long have you been here with the cemetery?
almost 11 years.
So you spend a lot of time out here. You probably know it like the back of your hand.
I do.
Do any of them ever speak to you?
No, but as I walk through the cemetery, I always, I guess, get the sense that, the people who I'm basically taking care of and watching over are watching over me. You know, I don't really hear things or see things, but there's just that sense that they're they're with us, even though their bodies are no longer visible. That this is a place of constant connection. That even though their bodies have returned to the dust of the earth, their souls still live, and in a way, they're still connected to us. So it's a beautiful experience here. And sometimes I do reflect on, like, at the time when this individual was buried in the 1800s, how were they dressed? And, how was the funeral rites back then? And where they brought in a horse and buggy, and just the different ways that people grieve. Because I see it here all the time, the different cultures, from the Latin American culture to the African American culture, um, to the Anglo-Saxon culture. It's just the different ways people grieve. And then some, it's a party, you know? I've had several come in a horse-drawn carriage and, with the jazz band. It's beautiful.
It's all about that person, isn't it?
Exactly. Very catered to the individual. And I think that's why cemeteries are so special, because it's a lasting tribute to each individual who is lying here.
How did you end up in this position?
Well, actually, I studied 7 years to become a priest, and I knew Father Chester since I was 15 years old, the rector here. And when I was exiting seminary, I needed a job, and this position was open, so it's kind of a perfect fit.
Really?
Yep,
And you plan on staying for a while?
as long as God lets me.
Do you plan on being buried here?
You know, I
I know
would
that's a
love
personal
to.
question,
Yeah,
but
no, I would love to, because this is one of the few churches, cemeteries that's right behind the church. And every day there's two masses here, and these people are covered in prayer. So, yeah, definitely.
all right. I think we got it.
All right.